It's been so impactful in video games and the culture. But if you guys can do me a huge favor, right before I bring him to stage, two things. One, everybody turn your phone on silent. Don't be that guy that, like, your phone rings in the middle of the thing. We're all going to look at you like, come on, bruh. The other thing is, during the panel, I will look like I'm texting, but I'm really, like, looking at questions and all those things. I'm also checking my Twitter. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask SUDA-san, tweet me. I'll look at those questions, and then I'll ask those questions to SUDA-san, all right? If anybody doesn't know my Twitter, it's Stuntman Gene, STUNTMANGENE. Just shoot me the questions, and then we'll get those questions over to SUDA-san. All right, you guys ready? You excited? Guys, you got to make more noise than that. We got SUDA-san in the building. Make some noise if you're excited for the SUDA-san panel. The one, the only, Mr. SUDA-san himself. You're not. You're not. Wow, this is a very, very small chair made for a very, very small person. You know what? Let's switch chairs. Yeah. I'm not kidding anybody here. Like, I know how big I am. Let's make everybody comfortable. Otherwise, I guess it would be a great meme if the chair broke on stage, right? All right. I mean, where do we start? So, SUDA-san, we've done this before. Welcome back. Welcome to sunny, hot Atlanta, Georgia.
前にはやったことあるんですけれども、もうようこそまたアトランタに来ていただきありがとうございます。
ああ、こちらこそみんなアトランタに戻ってきたよ。
And yeah, I'm really happy to be here. Everybody, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, I'll be back. Wow, thanks so much. いや、前回もすごいたくさんの人が来てくれて。今回もすごい盛り上がって本当嬉しいたくさんの人が来てくれて。
So last time we had tons of people come out, and I was really happy to see you all here. And I see that there's a lot of people in the audience now. So thank you once again for coming.
Thanks so much. ありがとう。
All right, so here's the thing. We only have 90-ish minutes, so I want to get right into it. But first, for anyone who's new, for anyone who kind of came, is like, oh, I've heard of SUDA-san. I don't really know SUDA-san. Let's go over just kind of a brief history of where SUDA-san started in the industry, kind of leading us up to present day.
なんか90分しかないので、最初は軽く自己紹介をしていただければなと思っています。
はい。須田剛一です。英語だとSUDA51と呼ばれてます。ビデオゲームデザイナー、会社の社長もやって、シナリオも書いたりとか、いろんな仕事をたくさんしてますけども、今グラスホッパーという会社、今年で21年目になります。
So my name is Suda Goichi. In English, a lot of you refer to me as SUDA51. And I do a lot of things. I run a company called Grasshopper, which you guys might know. And I write stories. I do all sorts of really cool stuff for that. So yeah.
So, all right. You mentioned Grasshopper. Obviously, there's some Grasshopper fans out there, right? Okay. I was like, they kind of glanced over it. I was like, it's kind of a big deal. Anybody familiar with Silvercase? Yeah. So the first work from, well, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who's new. Can we briefly go over kind of a few of the early titles that SUDA-san worked on?
須田さんがもう仕事をしていた最初的な最初のタイトルを軽く洗いしていただければ。
一番最初？
一番最初そういうタイトルの話を。
作ったタイトルは僕はプロレスゲームでこの業界に入ってスーパーファイヤープロレスリングというゲームを作りました。はい、この3がデビュー作です。
So one of my first games was a pro wrestling game called Superfire Pro Wrestling, and I worked on the.
Oh, thank you. でこれが今から26年前ですね。ちょうど四半世紀前に作りました。
So that was 26 years ago when I made this game. So like a nice, good, even 25, 26, yeah.
That's a long run in this industry, a long run. Let's kind of hop forward now. We got everyone knows SUDA has had a long, illustrious career. We've seen it from the very beginning. We've seen gaming evolve over the years, going from what was the current standard to now. I mean, recently, obviously, Travis is back. Who's the Travis fans out there? Where are they at? Yeah, yeah. Travis strikes again. They're excited about that one. So. Oh. I don't know. Let's see, guys. You guys want to see Travis in Smash? Is that a thing?
スマッシュはね、本当にね、そう簡単にできないから、もう僕とかじゃ決められないからね。で、今日一つ発表があるんですけども、みんな勘違いしないで、スマッシュのことじゃないからね。
So, sorry, for Smash Brothers, it's not entirely our decision, so, you know, yeah, sorry. But
so what he's saying is that if you guys really want it, then you guys need to tweet all the time and just the same way you guys were doing with Waluigi, just keep tweeting about it. keep going. Who knows what can happen there.
But he also did want to add that we do have an announcement for today that you're going to hear. But it isn't that Travis is not in Smash. That's not the announcement. So just
Okay.
All right. So let's go into. I know that there are a few things. That they're upcoming. A few things that we wanted to go through. I'd really like to first ask because I think this is very important. There are a lot of future game developers out there. There are a lot of current, starting game developers out there. If you could thinking back at the beginning of your career, if you could give one bit of advice and say, hey, this helped me, what would you give out to those newer game developers out there?
今日はいろんな話をするんですけれども、やっぱり自分が開発始めた頃にこれをしておけば楽勝だったみたいな、アドバイスがみんなにくれればいいなと思っています。
僕の場合は、学校出てすぐこの業界に入ったわけじゃなくて、いろんな仕事をしたんですよね。田舎から東京という大都市に出てきて、でなかなか仕事も決まらずとか決まった仕事に就けず、いろんな仕事をしました。不動産屋の仕事もしたりとか、テレフォンアポイントの仕事をしたりとか、あと営業で家に回って電話を売る仕事とか、本当にもうなんていうんですかね、華やかな仕事じゃない仕事をたくさんしたんですよね。で、ゲーム界入る直前は葬儀屋をやったりとか、いろんな仕事の経験をしたことが結果的にはすごく身になって、だけどそれはもう僕にとっての武器だったんですよ。やっぱその仕事のスキルっていうものが他の人たちはたくさんの仕事をしたわけじゃないので、ある意味業務をこなしていくっていうのかな、いろんな細かい業務があるんですけども、それを誰よりも早くこなすみたいなスキルは多分自分には早くついたんですけども、ただやっぱプログラムの勉強っていうものは自分はなかったので、もっとプログラムの知識があれば良かったのかなっていう気はしてます。ちょっと真面目な回答ですけど。
So before I joined the game industry, I did a lot of jobs. I kind of went around and did all sorts of different things. I worked in real estate for a little bit. I went around to houses kind of selling phones. I was a phone salesman. And I think, especially for me as somebody who kind of came from the country to the city, having all these experiences was a really valuable thing when I finally entered the industry. I noticed that, a lot of people who are in the game industry had basically come in and just done games. And for me, having all these other experiences to draw from was a source of inspiration and helped me kind of have something that a lot of people didn't have. So I think first that was something that was really important. And also one thing that I didn't have though was a lot of the people who worked in the game industry had programming experience and I didn't. So that was one thing that I really wish I had when I'd started out, just being a better programmer and knowing more about that sort of side of things.
So I have a question that kind of leads it with that. So because of the way that SUDA51 started, when you started, you were working with that first game had an incredibly small team. It was like 10 people. So what was the difference between working with a team that small and that intimate kind of, everyone has a certain job they have to do and you really all carry a certain amount of weight there, to now these huge titles with giant staffing that you work with now? What's the difference between those two?
一番最初の頃にやっぱり10人の小規模チーム、小規模チームで仕事をやってて、今そういう経験、いろんな人たちがいろんななんていうか、クロスで仕事をやっていて、それと違って今、結構でっかいゲームがもう何百人、何千人になるかもしれません。そういう違いをちょっと教えていただけますか？
まずたくさんのチームになった時にスタッフの例えばコンディションっていうんですかね、彼らがすごく健康的に仕事をしているのかで表情を見ながら今ちょっと悩みがあるんじゃないかっていうのは小規模だとオフィスに入った瞬間に分かるんですよね。だけど100になるともうそれが分からない。みんなが何を考えてちょっと、ね、悩んでいることがあるのか問題点あるのかみたいなことがもう現場の雰囲気から全然分からなくなってくるっていうのがやっぱり大きなチームなので、そこはすごくスタイルが全く違ってもっとパートで部署ごとにそういったことがまあ行われる感じなので、僕自身がディレクターとしてみんなのコンディションが分かるっていうのは多分本当に20人ぐらいまでなのかなっていうのが自分の経験ですね。
So, in terms of developing conditions, when you have a small team, you can kind of know what everybody's feeling. You can walk into the office and kind of immediately look at people's faces and say, "Oh, people are like, really like they're feeling bad, or they're feeling upbeat, or they're into this thing." So, being able to kind of read all of the people you're working with, I think, is a really important thing. When you come to larger teams, like when you get like 100 plus, there's kind of no way to know exactly what everybody is thinking and how everybody's working. So it becomes these kind of little pockets of different kind of development, and then everything kind of being in its own little section. So I think for me, like I like having a small team, maybe a maximum of 20 people. So that way I'm always kind of familiar with who I'm working with and what they're feeling.
All right, so we briefly mentioned Travis earlier. Obviously, you guys Travis fans out there? Yes? So with Travis Strikes Again being, so close to the re-release that happened, what is his feeling right now around there obviously being so much hype around Travis, the reinsurgence of introducing it not only to the newer gamers who may not have previously been fans and known about it, and now just seeing this huge spike of people and interest in that character in that franchise?
トラビス・ストライクスゲームは最近発売されまして、でいろんな人たちが前からトラビスのゲームを遊んでいたファンもいますし、あと新しいファンもたくさんいると思います。でやっぱりそういう、今このゲームが発売されていろんな人が知る、トラビスを知るようになって好きになるようになって、そういうことを見てスーさんはどう思いますか、感想。
そうですね、まずみんなトラビス・ストライクス・アゲインプレイした人いるのかな、どのぐらいいるのかな。
Can I ask who here has played Travis Strikes Again? Can you raise your hand?
Wow, thank you so much. ありがとう。ありがとう。よかった。みんな満足してくれた人手を挙げてもらえるかな。
So next, everybody who enjoyed it, who liked the experience, raise your hand.
ありがとう。OK, thank you. いやみんなのおかげでメタクリのね。ユーザースコアがすごく上がってるから本当ありがとう。Yeah.
So thanks. I noticed that the Metacritic score is really high. So thanks to all of you guys for that.
いやトラビスは気にしないって言ってるんだけど、俺はちょっと気にしてるんで。
So Travis himself doesn't really care about Metacritic scores, but SUDA kind of does. So.
若いファンの人たちも今回値段がすごくね買いやすくなってるから多分ね多くの人が買ってくれてるんじゃないかなと思ってるし、若いファンの人たちもねぜひノーマルヒーローズのシリーズのきっかけになるタイトルになったと思います。
So we made the price point of this game much lower than a lot of other titles. So we thought it would make it more accessible to younger gamers and like let more people buy it. So I think this would be really nice to be a good entry point for people who want to get into the Travis Strikes, Travis universe and Travis multiverse, no Travis universe.
あとは、実はグラスホッパー20周年記念タイトルっていう意味合いで僕も作ったので、多分ねファンの皆さんには懐かしいキャラクターがたくさん登場したと思うんですよね。なんかそういう自分たち自身もファンの人たちに恩返しできるようななんかそんなゲームになったんじゃないかなと思います。
So Grasshopper has been around for 20 years. As of last year, it was our 20-year anniversary. And I think one thing that I kind of want to do was make this our 20-year anniversary title, like something that really kind of summed up what we've done. And for that purpose, we put a lot of nostalgic characters, and we put a lot of things that we think the fans really liked in the past, and things that I liked working on in the past as well. So for me, in a lot of sense, this is a way for me to pay back all of our fans for their support over the years.
でちょうどセブンデイズパッチっていうのを当てた時にキラーセブンのダン・スミスが登場したんだけども、多分みんな喜んでくれたと思います。どうかな。
Like for example, on the seventh day patch, we had Killer 7's Dan Smith join in, and I hope everybody enjoyed that. Did you like it?
よかった。ありがとう。カプコンがすごく協力的にキラーセブンのコラボをね今回実現してくれたので、本当に みんなへのなんか恩返しになったんじゃないかなという気がします。
Yeah, so and there's like collaborations coming with the Killer 7 now as well. So I was hoping those sorts of things would make you guys all happy as fans. So yeah.
Thank you. ありがとう。
You know what else makes fans happy? When they see things, when they have visual things, and I believe that Suda brought a few things before the announcement. This isn't the announcement, but brought some things that he wanted to share, right?
ファンも喜ぶことはやっぱり映像を見るとか画像を見る、発表ではないけれどなんか須田さん持ってきましたよね。
そうだね。まずちょっと発表の前にトラビス・ストライクス・アゲンの、ね、ゲームをちょっと振り返ってみたいなと思うんですね。今日のパネルは。
So yeah, before we get to our announcement, we'd like to kind of look back a little bit at Travis Strikes Again and kind of show you some cool stuff about it and talk about it.
ちょっとパワーポイントに切り替えてもらえると嬉しいんだけども。OK、はい。今回のテーマです。Thank you はい、じゃあ次のページお願いします。
Next page, please.
はい、ストーリーアイデアこれね、最初の本当企画書ですね。企画書で作った画像です。
So,
はい。
This was the first, like our entire the project planning. This is the first thing that we made for it. Just this is how we.
So the death ball was that early on. It was.
一番最初にデスマーク2が出てきたんですか？
デスライマーク2。いやとにかくその通りビデオゲームの世界に入るためにやっぱりゲーム機が必要だと思って。デスライブというねゲーム機が実現しました。
So yeah, like right off the bat, we wanted like a game that you get sucked into and you play into, and so that's kind of what we had up there.
でデスボールを6つ集めると最初7個だったんだけども7個ってちょっとなんか数字的に変えた方がいいのかなと思ったのでデスボール6個を集めると願い事が叶うという斬新なアイデアを考えました。
So at first we had the idea of seven of these to put in, but that was kind of like a little bit a lot. And then we kind of came up with this idea that hey, if you collect all of these, these ball-shaped game cartridges, a wish of yours would be granted. And that was completely original idea, by the way.
竜の神様じゃなくて虎の神様が出るっていうね誰も考えたことない。
So not like a dragon god, like maybe like a tiger god. Completely original.
Fully original content.
Totally.
Fully original content.
Of course, yeah. Okay, next. はい、キャラクターはですね、今回はもちろんメインキャラクターは小崎祐介小崎がデザインしてくれたんですけども、それ以外のキャラクターがイギリスにいるアーティスト、今リバプール在住なんですけども、ボンフェイスという彼がデザイン全部してくれました。
So the main character of Travis was designed by Kozaki Yusuke, who was designed that character. All the other characters were designed by a British artist who's currently living in Liverpool by the name of Boneface.
はい。彼のアートが僕大好きで、ボーンフェイスと仕事をしたくてメールをしたんですけども、そしたら彼がうちのゲームのことを知っていてくれて、いいよ一緒に仕事をしようよって言ってくれて、それですぐ実現しました。
So I really liked his art, and I kind of like sent him an email like, "Hey, you want to do something together?" And apparently he was a fan of our game as well, or my game as well. So he was like, "Yeah, sure, let's do something." And that's kind of how it happened.
I think one of the major things I just don't want to glance over that with the characters in the franchise is I feel like the fans of the franchise have always found a certain degree of relatability to the characters that are in the franchise in that they see that it's not just the cookie cutter like hey everyone's exactly the same and the diversity in these characters has always stood out and I think that's something that the fans have always appreciated, right?
やっぱりキャラがスーさんがもう作るキャラがやっぱり構成がありまして、あとそしてなんか親身感も感じられるんです。その正統派っていうなんかこうどこにでもあるようなキャラではなくて、やっぱりなんか面白いキャラを作ってくれるのはやっぱりスーさんの。
ありがとう。そうだね。他のゲームには登場しないキャラクターを作ろうと毎回考えてるんで。
I also come up with I try to think of game characters that have never showed up for anything before when I make up my games. So.
特に今回人気が一番あるのはドッペルゲンガーというちょっとカンバービッチに似てるキャラクターがいるんですけども、彼がすごく人気ですね。なのでこの後何か、彼のキャラクターを大事にしていきたいなと思ってます。
Like one of the characters that I really liked and was very popular this time was the character of Doppelganger, who is over there, and so. Because the reaction was went so well, I was thinking maybe I'd like to, really care about him in the future and bring him to other things potentially.
Is that like Is that officially considered a leak? What is that? Is that a leak?
なんかそれネタバレですか？
No, no, no. なんかまあ機会があればね、機会があれば。
just
He's
thinking about
considering
it.
it.
Just,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, it's out there in the universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next, yeah. はい。まあこれがデスドライブマーク2というゲーム機で、まあデザインさっき見てもらったと思うんですけども、まあ最高のデザインができたんじゃないかなと思います。
So this is the Death Drive Mark II, and I think you saw it in the very first slide I showed, but it pretty much just kind of ended up that way.
はい。でまあ、このゲーム機によってトラビスがゲームの世界に入っていって、6つのゲームの世界にトラビスが入ります。
So through the Death Drive Mark II, there's 6 game kind of cartridges that you get, and when you put them into the game console, then you get sucked into that game itself.
はい。それでまあ、次のネクストいきましょうか。
Next slide, please.
はい。で最初のゲーム、はい、これがエレクトロニック・サンダー・タイガー2というゲームですね。でこれの、ディレクターズカット版、皆さん多分ゲーム中でオープニングの PV を見てもらったと思うんですけども、これのディレクターズカット版がありますんでちょっと見てもらいましょうか。
So the first game is the Electric Thunder Tiger 2, and I think if you all played the game, you saw that before when the game starts up, there's a little bit like a little PV, a little promotional video that starts for it. But we've actually got the director's cut for you here today, so we're going to show that now. Yeah.
じゃあお願いします。
Yep. Can you put it on?
3 years since tragedy struck. Electric Speed City has suddenly been covered in darkness. It seems to be the second coming of the blackout 3 years ago. The city is currently being kept under full quarantine by the military and with absolutely no information released. One man rises up once again. It seems as though the machine has begun losing control underground once again. All power supplies have been cut off, and the city has plunged 20 degrees below zero.
At this rate, the residents have only about 72 hours to live.
Triple star and save his wife and daughter. To return light and hope to the city.
はい、ありがとうございます。Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. これ実際に実装されているバージョンと違うのは画面が綺麗な感じですね。画面が綺麗なの、実際に実装されているバージョンと違ってね。
So actually, the one that we have in the real game, it looks a lot prettier, but
でこの映像は神風動画という皆さん知ってるかな、ポプテピピックとかっていうアニメがあって、まあそれを制作しているスタジオなんですけども、彼らとは多分4回目ぐらいの仕事になりますね。
So the people who made this for us is this studio called Kamikaze Doga, who you might be familiar with. I can never say that word. Poptech.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
So it was our fourth project, our fourth collaboration with them, and they helped us with this.
Yep. じゃあ次行きましょうか。
Alright, next.
次のゲームの方に行きましょう。次の映像は、
Can we go to
スクリーン外ですかね。
The next slide.
Next slide, please.
大丈夫かな？Just a moment. ちょっと待ってね。
We're experiencing brief technical difficulties during this time. There we go.
おー、来た来た。
There we go.
OK。これでいいんだっけ？違うな。ライフズデストロイじゃなかったっけ？
Is this one right?
まあいいか。これスクリーン通り？シート通りですね。じゃあこっち行きましょうか。はい。じゃあね、コーヒー&ドーナツ行きましょう。
We're just kind of changing as we go.
これはね、あんまりまあいいや、見ましょうみんなでね。
All right, so not really much to say here. We're just going to go right into the director's cut video.
いや、これはもう PS1 の時の雰囲気を再現してます。
We're trying to go for the PS1 kind of feel, the era, that sort of style of game.
いいポリゴンだよね。
Nice polygons, right?
ありがとう。これはどうハリウッドこれ。
What did you think?
I thought you nailed PS1.
もう PS1 本当に
PS1
パーフェクトでした。
Yeah,
Yeah.
nailed it.
今の時代ね、このクオリティで作るのすごく大変で、クオリティ上がっちゃうんですけど、どんどん下げて下げて、も
It's actually-
っと下げてくれって言って作
It's
る。
really hard to actually make this sort of thing like now. Like the quality is really high, so we have to just keep like, no, make it worse, make it worse, make it look bad.
Yeah. もっとカクカクしてくれって言ってね
No, make it like really polygonal and just kind of ugly.
Yeah, yeah. まあそんな感じで作りました。
That's how kind of what we were going for when we made it.
I think that's what they love, though. You guys love that, right?
Yeah, it's good.
よかった。はい。NEXT 行きましょう。
Next slide,
はい
please.
Just a moment. Just a moment.
So, guys, while they're getting that together, I am looking at the Twitter. Make sure you keep those questions coming in. I see a lot of good questions out there. So,
なんか今ツイートを見てていろんな面白い質問が来てますよ。
オッケー。あ、じゃあチェックしといて。一回じゃあ質問いく？どうする？
Do you want to like do a question now, or should we just go here? Like,
yeah, okay. Let's do
Yeah.
one. Let's do one right now. All right, here's a good one. Since we're Travis related. Wait, I want to read your tweet exactly how you wrote it, so you know I'm not just like making up questions. Another question. With the music of Travis Strikes Again, it was great. What was the idea behind bringing DJs in for this game, and will there be more collaborations? Basically, they just want to know, like, bringing in the DJs for Travis Strikes Again, music was rock star level. Is that something you plan on continuing to do in the future?
トラビス・ストライクス・アゲインでは DJ とコラボして音楽を作っていたと思うんですけども、最高でした。とにかく最高でした。で、それを、なぜそういう思いついたんですか、そういうアイディア。あとまたこれから将来にそういうコラボをやるつもりですか？
そうですね。今回 DJ アボさんという初めて、組む方で、彼もビデオゲームの音楽を始めたんですけども、なんかね、若い人たちと組みたかったんですよね。で、彼も多分まだ30代前半ぐらいなので、本当に新しい音楽を生み出すすごくパワーがあって、でいろんなゲームを作るからこそいろんなタイプの音が欲しかったんですよね。それを彼がすごくいろんな実験的なことをしてくれて、今回音楽を作ってくれました。
So it was my first time trying teaming up with a DJ, and I wanted to work with younger, more kind of coming up musicians and people when I was making this project. And the person I worked with, he was in his early 30s, and he kind of had all these very experimental and interesting things that he was trying, and that was exactly what I wanted. I wanted a different kind of sound and a different sort of feel for every single track, and for him as well, it was the first time ever working on a game, so there was kind of a lot of really interesting energy there.
後でちょっと好きな曲が1曲あるので、それはその時に来たら聞きましょうか。はい。
And there's one song in particular I really like, but when we come up to it, I'll talk about it.
はい。じゃあ映像いきましょう。
All right, let's go back to the slide.
はい。Life is Destroy。これ完全ディレクターズカット版ですね。本編ではカットしたものがあるんですけども、多分見たら気づいてくれるんじゃないかな。
So next up is Life is Destroy, and this is totally a director's cut. There's a lot of things that we didn't include in the final version of the game, so I hope you like it.
はい、行きましょう。おっと。
Yeah. Like it a lot.
Die! 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 Oh, fuck! Why do you live? The hours of famine. The wrath of Satan. Why aren't you dead? So, you like games? Let's play a game of death. Guilty. 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 Choose. Choose.
はい。いやいや。実際ありがとう。Thank you。実際ゲームに入ってるバージョンは首が飛ばなかったんですよね。
In the game itself, you didn't see his head pop off, but you know.
なので、ちょっと任天堂に考慮してちょっと首飛ばさずにしました。
So we did like a lot of we had a lot of talks with Nintendo, and we ended up going what we did. So.
まあでも首飛んだバージョン僕大好きなのでみんなに見てほしかったんですよ。
But so we ended up not using the head pop off version, but I really loved it, so I really wanted you all to see it right now.
ありがとう。いやいや。まあこの時の撮影の思い出としてはドッペルゲンガーが持っている武器があるんですよね。ワインなんだっけ、ワインオープナー。あれは特製でワインオープナーのこうイガイガイガーって丸っこいなるじゃないですか。あれを長く作ったんですよね。でそれをあれを2つ作るのに1個20万するんですよ。なので合計40万かかったんですよね。だけど一瞬で終わってしまったので40万もったいないなって思ってます。
So when we were designing Doppelganger's character, he has those like special weapons, right? Those kind of really long wine opener swirly thingies, right? And to just make one of those, like it actually cost us somewhere around like $2,000. And then to make two, it was like $4,000. And obviously it just shows up for like half a second. So man, that's kind of a lot of money for a little bit.
まあその後ワインオープナーでね使おうと思っても長すぎるから使いづらい。
And I wanted to use it in the future, but it's kind of really long, so it's not actually that useful of a tool. So.
Okay, next.
All right.
Next slide.
Wait, before you move on,
Okay, yeah.
there was a question, especially since you mentioned Nintendo. And they said, with Travis Strikes Again being on the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch being motion control capable, could they see No More Heroes 1 and 2 possibly on the Switch?
今何分かった？
ないない。
スイッチで今トラビスが大人気なんだけれど、
いやいや
スイッチにはそのモーションコントロールがあるんじゃないですか。
いやいや、これね。
で、
これできるのか。確かに確かにね。
Sure, why not?
それでいつか1と2がスイッチに出てくるんじゃないかなっていうことですね。
どうなんだろう。出したらみんな買ってくれるのかな。
I don't know if I sell it, will you guys buy it?
じゃあちょっとねマーベラスと相談本当真剣に相談してねしようと思います。グラスホッパーとマーベラスがね IP 持ってるので、マーベラスの人たちはみんなノーマンヒーローズ大好きなので。ちょっとね、日本に帰ったら相談したいと思います。
So Marvelous actually has the IP rights to those, but Marvelous really does like No More Heroes. So when I get back to Japan, I'll start talking to them. We'll see what we can do.
よしよし、OK はい。すごいなこの熱気はすごい。
Wow, you guys, I love the reactions here.
この熱気をマーベラスに伝えるから。
Yeah, I'll make sure Marvelous knows how much you guys want this.
Yeah, okay.
俺たちのお金を受け取れ
He's buying them for everyone.
OK。では NEXT。いや。
はい
OK、ゴールドドラゴン GP ですね。じゃあこれもオープニング見てもらいましょうか。
So this is Golden Dragon GP. We'll start with the opening.
これは実装版とほぼ一緒ですね。
So this is actually really close to what you saw in the game itself.
まあよくできてるんでかっこいいですよねこの映像。
I think it's really well done. I think it's pretty cool. So take a watch.
でこのゲームの中に好きな曲が1曲あるのでちょっと PV 見てもらった後に曲も聴いてもらいたいなと思います。
There's I really like a song from this as well. So once we're done with the video, we'll play a little bit of that song.
はい、ありがとうございます。はい。これめちゃめちゃかっこいい映像で、これ一人のクリエイターさんが作ってくれたんですね。
So I think this is a really cool whole video, and actually only one person made this whole thing.
いやこれ熊さん何さんでしたっけ？
What was his name?
名前忘れちゃった。
I forgot his name. Sorry.
そ
What
う
was
そ
his
の
name?
後調べたら出てくるんで。そうもともとこういうベクタースキャンの映像を作ったことがある方で。こういうテイストがすごく得意な方なんですよね。で彼に依頼をしたらまた新しいスタイルの映像を作ってくれました。
So I forgot his name actually. If you guys Google it, it'll probably come up. But there's actually a person. He's really good at making vector scan kind of videos like this, and he's somebody who is kind of really into that. So I asked him, and he managed to do it. But I did specify I want something that's new, something that hasn't really been done before. So he came up with this new style of displaying.
で好きな曲ちょっと1曲出したいんですけれども4畳半の部屋の曲を出せると嬉しいなと思ってるんですけどその間にちょっと質問コーナー1回行きましょうか。はい、
So I'd like you guys to listen to one of the songs from this. This is my favorite, and it's kind of a Tatami Galaxy style song. But before we do that, maybe let's take a question.
This is a big question. It's come up a few times. Will we ever see Juliet Starling again?
これ
ジュレット
今わかりました。
分かった
結構気が
分かった
どうぞ。
ジュレット・スターリングのゲームだよね。
まだ出てくるか？
オーマイガーもちろんすごくそういう声がたくさんあってこればっかりはその権利が IP がワーナーブラザーズと角川っていう本当ビッグなアメリカと日本のビッグな出版社2社が持ってるんですよね。なのでグラスホッパーが作りたくてもなかなか手が出せないっていうのがあるんですけどもでもいつか作りたいですし作るならやっぱりジェームズ・ガンと一緒に作りたいなと思ってます。彼が今すごくねもちろんガーディアンズの3もそうですしあとなんだっけ DC で作るよね。知らない DC であれを作るんですよ。なんだっけみんな知ってるよね。スーサイドスクワットも作るからそれが終わって彼がまた一緒にゲームを作るっていうタイミングになったら実現したらできたら最高だなと思います。
ごめん、彼の名前もう一度何ですか？
ジェームズ・ガン。
ジェームズガン。So, one thing I really would like to, and I see that a lot of people, I get this question often, like, are you going to make a game with her? And she's a really popular character, I'd like to, but the IP is owned by Kadokawa and by Warner Brothers, two kind of very big companies both in the US and Japan. So it's not entirely my decision, but I really do want to do it, and so maybe one day when there is a chance. And James, I'm sorry, I didn't hear his last name. James.
James Gunn.
Everybody knows, yeah, sorry. I'm the only one who doesn't. So I'd really like to work with him again, and maybe when he's finished on things like Guardians 3 and Suicide Squad, and he's got like a moment, we can sit down and maybe have a chat.
All right, so I'm not going to read this one verbatim because I lost the tweet, but I remember the gist of it. It was a canon question. They wanted to know, so because of, I don't want to spoil anything, so I got to think of how I'm going to phrase this. Because of certain things that happened in Travis Strikes Again with Killer 7, is that considered canon now moving forward?
TSA で、キラ7関係のことは起こりまして、でそれこれからもうこれ正統派のストーリーになるんですが、またキャノンってわかりますか？
キャノンわかんない。
キャノン、そういう今その正解ではこういうは古事実であるんですか？
事実であります。もちろんです。同時並行の世界にいるので、みんな共存してますね。同じ世界の中にいます。
So yeah, it's like the same world, and this is something that has happened. So it is a fact. It is part of canon.
なのでどっかでまたクロスオーバーする可能性もあるし、なんかそういうイメージが出てきたら考えたいなと思います。
There might be a crossover at some point, but like I'll kind of think about it a little, percolate, and we'll see.
I'm pretty sure you guys like when they do crossovers, right, between franchises?
クロスオーバー見たいなみたいな。
よくファンのみんながなんだっけマーベルユニバースみたいなことを言ってくれるんですけども、スダバースみたいなことも言ってくれるので、スダバースの世界を作ろうかなって。
So I mean, we guys all know there's like the Marvel universe, right? So maybe one day there'll be like a SUDAverse as well, and I can bring that out.
Yeah, thank you. じゃあ曲いけますか？
Alright, let's move on to the song. あれ？
ちょっと待っててね。ジャスモン。これちょうどゴールドドラゴン GP で4畳半にとかかる曲なんですけども、日本のフォークというジャンルですね。
So it's like a Japanese folk song in Golden Dragon GP. When you go into like a small, like little tatami room, this is what starts playing on.
いい曲でしょう。
It's a good song, right?
はだだ下がり明日はきっと今日よりマシな一日がきっと来る
Cell phone lights up.
昨日の残りの冷めきたなぜか涙が溢れ出たかけらを残して部屋を出る
なんだこれ Thank you.
What are you guys doing?
面白い楽しいね楽しいね
Fun, right? That was fun. Thanks, guys.
OK 音楽大丈夫ですよ
Okay, cut the music.
ラララララララララララはいじゃあネクスト行こうか行きましょう次のやつ行きましょうもう皆さんご存知の通りシリアスムーンライトというゲームを遊ぶんですけども入手するんですけども実際遊ぶと違うゲームが登場するのがこのオープニング PV になりますね。まだ曲かかってるな。
So you guys know in Serious Moonlight you're playing this and another game pops up and we'll kind of see that moving on. So let's start with the PV.
さあ見ましょうか皆さんで一緒に。
Let's watch it.
Just a moment. すぐ来るからね。来た。OK。Your
take over for me now.
Wait! What are you? Hey! Garcia!
Took 7 of those bullets, and he survives. Become the hero of Gates of Hearts. Do not let me down, Johnson. I mean, Gates of Hearts.
Oh, thank you. ありがとう。そう、これは皆さん実は発売までずっと隠していて遊んでもらった方が多分気づいたと思うんですけども、僕らが昔 EA と一緒に作ったシャドウ・オブ・ザ・ダムドの、続編というイメージで、ダムド・ダークナイト、ガルシアが登場してジョンソンが8ハートとして登場する、そういった、ゲームになりました。
So we were hiding this up until the game came out, but a lot of you who played it probably noticed this definitely has a callback to the game that I made, Shadow of the Damned, and Johnson, yeah. So.
Oh, thank you. 多分喜んでくれた人もねたくさんいると思うんですけども、今の映像実は、実装されているものとちょっと違って、これもディレクターズカット版なんですけども、ちょっと気づいたかどうかは分からないんですけども、ジョンソンの銃が飛んだ時に手首も一緒についてるんですよね。ガルシアが食いちぎって飛ばしたっていう表現なんですけども、ちょっと任天堂さんの方から手首はちぎらないでほしいなって言われたので、実装版ではちょっと変えました。
So what you saw here too was a director's cut version, and we were talking when it was coming out. Initially, Nintendo was like, maybe, like you notice when the gun fell off, right? Like his hand was attached to it. Like initially, like, he bites it off, and Nintendo's like, maybe cut back on that. We don't, maybe no.
そうだよねと思って。
And he's like, yeah, I guess.
よかった、ちょっとお披露目できてよかったね。
Yeah. So I'm glad I was able to show you guys here.
Thank you.
Well, so we've seen a lot of the success because it's been such a long career. It's been amazing. I feel like I have to ask this question. Throughout your over 25-year career, what was one moment that you felt was extremely challenging that you had to persevere through?
いろんな成功の話はやっぱりされるんですけれども、須田さんの25年の経験の中でやっぱりチャレンジだったのは何でしょう？一番チャレンジだったのは何でしょう？
難しいな。
Hard question.
一番のチャレンジ？
The hardest challenge I had, or like?
難しいな。
一番ではなくてもいいですよ。チャレンジだったことは。
2番目
？Number two? Maybe not number one, number two?
いやたくさんチャレンジ、毎回チャレンジはあるんですけども、難しいな、どれが。ごめんね、ジャスモーメン、ちょっとシンキングタイムね。シンキングタイム。難しいな。いや難しいね。その質問超難しい。
That's a really hard question.
It's a really long career. That's why.
もうずっとキャリアが長いんでしょ。
一番のチャレンジはどうしようかな。かっこいいこと言おうか、ちょっと面白いこと言おうか、すごく今迷っていて。
So my number one challenge, I'm debating whether to tell you like a cool thing or like a funny thing. Like.
What do you guys want? You guys want cool or funny?
Okay.
両方。
They're like both. You guys are no help whatsoever.
両方お願いします。
OK、ファニーか。いや、一番のチャレンジは、毎回やっぱりそのオフィスに行くとどうしてもトイレが大きい方のトイレが行きたいんですけども、うちのトイレ1個しかないんですよね。で毎回スタッフが入ってるんですよね。いかにスタッフが出た時にすぐに入らないとまた入られちゃうから、それが本当毎日のチャレンジ、デイリーのチャレンジになってます、オフィスで。
So every day I go to the office, and every time I'm like, man, I really got to go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom, and somebody's in there already. And then, like, if I look away for a second and I back up, like, the second somebody leaves, somebody else goes in, and I can never get in there.
特に午前中が混んでるんだよね、すごく。
Like, always the mornings are the worst. Like, seriously.
本当午前中は戦争なんで、本当にもう毎回のチャレンジ。
Morning is a war for the bathroom.
ああ、sorry ごめんね。
Sorry, that was yeah.
ああ、でも本当リアルストーリーだね、これはね。Yeah.
Real story. That was, true facts.
あ、もう残り10分？残り10分？
It looks like we have 10 minutes left.
わお。じゃあ発表しないとね、もうそろそろ。
I guess we have to like go on to the announcement now, eh?
OK。いやどうなのかな、まあ。
60分のマークに近づくんですけど、90分もあるんですよ。
あ、OK。そうだね。じゃあまずは発表しましょう。
じゃあ OK, yeah, we'll move on right to the announcement though. Just
じゃあちょっとさっきのシートの続きからなんとなくバーッとちょっと喋りつつ発表に行きたいと思うんですけども。
So we'll kind of like move really quickly through the remaining slides and then get to the announcement.
まあこれが CIA。最後のステージになります。みんなこの後クリアしてくれたと思うんですけども、この後にエンディングになります。
So this is CAA, the final stage, and once you clear this, you get to the end of the game.
で、キラーマラソン、これが DLC 第2弾ですね。本当のキラーマラソンが遊べました。
And this is Killer Marathon from our second DLC, and here you can actually play, real off Killer Marathon.
ちょっとこれディレクターズカット版あるんだけど、ちょっと割愛しましょうか。ね、いいかな、はい。次行きましょう。ラーメン。みんなで、OK、ストップ。
Hold on, go back.
ちょっと一回バックしてもらっていいかな。OK、ラーメン。
Okay, let's talk
みん
about
な大好きな
ramen.
ラーメン。みんなラーメン食べてくれたかな。
Has everybody here eaten ramen? Do you guys like eating ramen?
OK、あ、よかったよかった。いや本当ね、いろんなラーメンみんなに紹介できて嬉しいです。日本に来たらね、本当たくさんのラーメン食べてください。
I'm really glad that I got to introduce a lot of my favorite ramens to you guys out here, and I hope that if you guys come to Japan, you eat them all and try them out.
ありがとう。ネクスト行きましょうか。で、今回はインディーゲームとたくさんのコラボレーションをして、トラビスがたくさんの T シャツを着ました。はい、
So in this game, we are able to do a collaboration with a lot of indie titles, and they appear as T-shirts in game. So that was awesome.
本当パックス行った時とかですかね、いろんなインディークリエイターと知り合って彼らに話をして、全然いいよっていう本当たくさんのゲームが OK してくれて、で OK したんですけども、ちょっと契約の段階で、これはちょっと飲めないっていうこともあったりとかして。本当はもっとね、いくつかビッグなタイトルも、実装する予定だったんですけども、なかなかそれもいくつかの問題があって、ね、できなかったタイトルもあるんですけども、本当でもみんな前向きに今回コラボしてくれて本当に嬉しかったですね。
So a lot of these collaborations, I'd go to PAX and I'd kind of run into like a game creator and be like, hey, you want to work together? And they'd be like, yeah, sure, why not? And I was able to get a lot of the collaborations just kind of through that. But there were also a bunch of problems with the kind of contractual obligations that came up, especially with the bigger titles that we wanted to work with. So there was a lot more that we approached really positively, but in the end, things didn't quite work out. But I'm glad. I think it went well. I'm really happy everything happened.
特にデボルバーはタイトル全部いいよって言ってくれたので、本当あいつらいいやつらだと思います。
I think like a good example is Devolver. They're like, yeah, just use anything. Like, why not, man? Just. So I really like Devolver. They're pretty sweet.
はい。じゃあね、ハルト次発表します。次のシートが発表になります。
All right, the next sheet is our announcement. So let's go.
いや皆さん。
Wait a minute, hold on, guys. You guys get way more excited about this.
そんなに。そんなに期待しないでね。そんなに期待しないで。
It's not that big of an announcement. So maybe a little bit down.
そうね。どうぞ。じゃあ行きましょうか。じゃあ発表しましょう。
All right, let's do it.
OK。来ました。はい、今この瞬間世界初の発表になります。トラビス・ストライクス・アゲン・ノマ・ヒーローズ。プレイステーション4、Steam に移植します。
So this is our first ever announcement. This is the first time we're revealing this. Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes will be on PlayStation 4 and the PC.
Thank you.
Thank you.
たくさんの人たちにねこのゲームが遊んでもらえるチャンスになると思います。また。
That's a big announcement. They're excited about that.
これ結構ビッグな発表じゃないですか。
いやビッグな発表。いや。みんなどう
What do you guys think? You guys like?
You guys excited?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so big announcement. Obviously, Travis Strikes Again going to PlayStation 4. Also going to be available on Steam, which means you guys are going to go and own it on like every possible platform at this point. So I'm not going to get into that conversation. All right. So we asked the hard question. And you know what? Before I ask, I have one real question. But before that, what is so far to date? What is the moment you think about throughout your entire career that makes you the happiest when you think of your career in video games and creating all these games and creating Travis and creating all these characters and storylines? Which one makes you the happiest?
前は難しい質問を聞いたんですけども、今回はやっぱり長年この仕事をやってて一番幸せな経験はどうでしたか？何でしたか？今振り返ってこれ良かったなーって思ったところは何ですか？
いや最初にやっぱり作ったゲームが発売してお店に見に行くんですよね。ゲームショップに見に行った。その時に目の前で自分が作ったゲームを買ってレジに行った姿を見た時にすごく嬉しくて、本当抱きしめようかと思いました。その人を、はい、そのぐらい嬉しかった。
So probably for me it would be the first time I released a game and I went to a game store and you saw it lined up there on like the shelves and right in front of my eyes somebody came up and they picked it up and they went to buy it and I was like, yes, oh man, I want to pay for it for you. Like
それは本当嬉しかった。一生忘れないですね、多分ね。
I'll never forget that moment.
All right, so we filled in a little bit since the beginning, but I just want to ask, I've made one question into two now. What is the one piece of advice that you would give everyone in this room? Life, video games, whatever you want it to be, the one piece of advice you want everyone to leave here with.
みんなに伝えたい一つのアドバイスあります？人生のでもいいし、ゲームクリエイターとしてでもいいし。
でもいろんな仕事をした経験っていうものはすごく生かされると思いますし、あとは僕の場合すごく背伸びをしましたね。若い頃に自分の好きなものだけじゃなくて自分の興味のないものもすごく探ってみたりとか、なんていうんだろう、例えばパッと目にした単館系のミニシアターでやってるような映画も飛び込みで見たりとか、でもそこからその映画監督のことを知ったりとか広がっていったりとか、あとは本屋に行って写真集適当に、ジャケっていうのかな、表紙だけ見て買ってみたりとか、そこからでも知識がどんどん広がっていくので、もちろんネットで何でも調べる時代なんですけども、実際手に取ったりとか自分で経験するっていうこともすごく大事なので、みんなにはなんかそういうことをやっぱりやってほしいなと思います。
Probably the one piece of advice I would give is throughout my career and before I started my career as a game creator, I had a lot of different experiences that I went through. So all these different jobs I did, for example, but also even before that when I was younger, I went out of my way to kind of pursue and experience as many different things as I could. And I think that came back as a really good experience. It kind of helped me expand my mind and learn about all sorts of things. And this wasn't limited just to things I like. I didn't just go for the things that really made me happy. I would go into a bookstore and just pick up a random book and like, hey, this cover looks cool, I'll buy that. And then, like I might not like what was inside of it, but it helped me expand my mind just by doing all these different things. And I know now, right now, we're in the age of the internet and you can just Google everything and find everything you want. But I think there's still value in kind of going in person, like picking something up and doing it, or picking part of an activity or reading a book and just experiencing that. So I think that would be my advice for everybody.
Thank you.
All right, Suda-san. It's the last question. We have time constraints and what have you. Super important. So, throughout your illustrious career, over 25 years of experience in gaming, in game development, in being part of the community, in being a voice and being a legend in this community, I can't think of a more important question to ask you than, does pineapple belong on pizza?
パイナップル？ピザにパイナップル？
ピザ、すごく須田さんにはいろんな経験をしてきて、今も伝説級の伝説のゲームクリエイターなんで、須田さんにしか答えられない質問なんですよ。ピザの上にパイナップル乗っかるか乗っからないか。
I like pineapple.
Pineapple on pizza. There you go.
I like. 大好きだね。
Yeah.
All right, guys. First of all, let's say thank you to Suda-san for doing this amazing panel.
Thanks so much. すみません。最後にちょっと質問をほら、ね、この後の予定を聞いてほしいんだよね。この後の予定を。
What are your plans after this? By the way, dude, what are your plans after this? He wants to know.
What am I what?
What are your plans?
My plans after this?
Yeah.
I don't know. One day get married, have some kids. I don't know. Maybe. No, I'm going to the rave. Hold on, guys. Here's the thing.
まだみんな帰らないでね。ちょっと待って。
Before you guys leave, I'm sure you want to be a part of this. So obviously, Suda-san's got to take off pretty soon. He would love to stay and take photos with everyone. There's just not enough time. But for those of y'all that were here last year, we'll do. If Suda's okay with it, we'll do the same thing we did. We'll take a photo with everybody in the background, and we'll take like a 15-second video. That way, we'll post it online. Everybody can get the photo and be in it. But I need you guys to really show one time, show your appreciation. Let's get some Suda. Suda.
まあいいや。
There we go.
OK OK。ハリウッド E3 行く ？E3 に行く？
何が
？E3 ハリウッド E3 に行くかな？
Are you going to E3?
Yes, I will be. Oh, that's right. We forgot that. So you're going as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, guys, who's going to E3? E3? Anybody going to E3? A few people? I'm just saying, because Suda, you may have something that you're going to announce at.
なんか発表するんですか E3 では。
ああ、わかんないけど、まあ今年僕ちょっと E3 行くことになって、ひょっとしたら何かあるかもしれないからみんな注目してね。
Okay, it's back on. So yeah, I'm going to be going to E3 this year, and I can't say anything now, but there might be a bit of an announcement there. So.
わかんない。Maybe だけど E3 絶対チェックしてね。
Yeah, it's definitely a maybe, but definitely check it out.
Yeah. Thank you so much. ありがとう。Thank you. またアトランタ帰ってくるからね。
Guys, one last time, make some noise for Suda-san. Thank you so much for coming out. MomoCon 2019.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, ありがとう。Thank you. ありがとうね。Thank you. みんなバイバイ。みんな気をつけて帰ってね。
Bye. See you guys at E3, baby.
で飲みすぎないでみんな大丈夫ね。今日の夜飲みすぎないで。
All right, Suda, one last selfie.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
We got everybody. Guys, have a great day.
Bye. Thank you. Oh, thank you. 嬉しい、ありがとう。いや？おう、何？おう、ありがとう、トラビスじゃん。
なんかトラビスを集大とした